let me just say this. The light has grown even dimmer in America now. I want to talk about this today. In fact, as a matter of fact, I'm going to open up the phone lines here in just a little bit, and I'm going to let you sound off on this. I'll tell you when, so don't be calling now. Otherwise, you'll have to sit on the line and wait for a while. But we'll do a sound off here in a moment. You can agree or disagree with the things that I'm getting ready to say. But the bottom line is, we have an unprecedented occurrence in the United States of America. We have a clerk of a county clerk, Rowan County, Kentucky, Kim Davis, who is sitting in jail under the order of a federal judge because she believes that marriage is between a man and a woman. First time in U.S. history that we have somebody sent to jail because they happen to believe that two men being married is an abomination, or two women being married is an absolute degradation of the word marriage. But she's sitting in jail. Kim Davis, a county clerk. You know, when she ran for office, she didn't sign up, but she knew what her job was. She knew that a part of it was going to be issuing marriage license. But a marriage, when she ran for office and when she was elected to office, a marriage is a marriage is a marriage. 6,000 years of human history of legal, lawful marriages, 240-something years of marriages in the United States. Here's the deal, folks. You know, people tease Christians about the little saying we have sometimes, you know, what would Jesus do? Let me ask you, what would our founding fathers think about this? What would they do? Do you think that our founding fathers even had an inkling of an idea that two men being married was natural and normal and should be lawful, and that we should put a Christian in jail if they disagreed? Do you think our founding fathers thought that two women holding hands at an altar and a priest pronouncing them wife and wife or whatever? Good gosh. What would our founding fathers think? I mean, if you want to know how constitutional all of this is, what would our founding fathers have said about this? Do you think in their wildest imaginations they even envisioned anything like this? You see, the Supreme Court ruling, not only was it illegal and unconstitutional by their own words, and I've done a lot of radio shows and television shows on that, and we've talked about it a lot here. Mike Bates, the owner and manager of this station, is the one that broke that news right here on WEBY, and then broke it with me and to me, and then came on Freedom Friday for a whole 30-minute segment one day, and we talked about it. The DOMA ruling 2 years ago, the same 5 justices that gave us this gay marriage debacle that now has resulted in a county clerk sitting in jail today because she believes that a marriage is between a man and a woman. How horrible of her. What an outlandish lawbreaker she is. What a criminal she is. Put her in jail. The same 5 justices that gave us this travesty, which is going to leak down to your children very soon. You watch, and a whole lot more. See, today it's the county clerks in jail. Tomorrow it'll be the pastors. And the day after that, it'll be all of you who have employment. Listen to me now, folks. All of you who have employment with county, city, state, and federal government offices. It will not be long so that they're not sued or that they don't have any employment problems. They're going to make you sign at your employment. They're going to make you sign that you will acknowledge gay marriage. You will affirm it in your job as a government employee. I know some of you are laughing at me right now, but you laughed at me years ago when I told you this day was coming too, and you called me all kind of names. But you were wrong. You haven't even seen what's coming yet. See, this whole gay marriage thing, it's not about parity. It's not about fairness. It's not about equality. It's about a radical gay agenda. And by the way, let me just say this. You see, what the Supreme Court has done with this gay marriage. Not only is it illegal, because in the DOMA ruling just 2 years ago, as Mike Bates broke, and as I've been doing interviews on this, the same 5 justices, they said that it would be illegal and unconstitutional if the federal government, and by the way, the SCOTUS, Supreme Court of the United States, is a branch of the federal government. I know if you didn't have civics classes and you were in the dumbed down portion of our public school systems across the nation, you probably don't even know that. SCOTUS is a branch of the federal government, one of the 3 branches. 2 years ago, they said in their ruling, when they struck down DOMA, the Federal Defense of Marriage Act, because that act said a marriage is only between a man and a woman, and their ruling was, hey, federal government has no business telling the nation what a marriage is. It's illegal. It's unconstitutional. It's not in the Constitution. That belongs to the states. We can't tell the states what a marriage is. It's not within the purview of constitutional law for us. We can't do it. If we did, it would be unconstitutional. Now, I'm paraphrasing, but that's what they said, and so much more. That's what they said. And then just a few weeks ago, they turned it topsy-turvy, on top of its head, and said, you know what? We changed our minds. Even though the Constitution doesn't say we can say it, and we know it doesn't say we can say it, and we know that it's unconstitutional to do this because we've said it's unconstitutional to do it, we're going to do it anyway, and we're going to impose it on all 50 states. And government employees that won't go along with it, we're going to put them in jail. Now, they didn't say those words, but that's exactly what was meant by it all, and that's exactly what has happened. Now, let me tell you something else the Supreme Court did. When they made that decision, and I said this before the decision, people were, I do a lot of interviews, and I'm very blessed to do that because of all my years in radio and the books that I've done and the TV I've done, and then I do 4 or 5 national radio programs a week on average. And I'm blessed to do that. I give all praise to God for that. It ain't me. But I have a big microphone in this nation right now, and I'm going to use it as long as God gives it to me. And I said before the gay marriage ruling, people were asking me to prognosticate. And I said, well, I hope the Supreme Court, they should know it's unconstitutional. I would hope they wouldn't do it. And besides that, let me tell you another reason it's unconstitutional. Because to do this, now listen closely to this, folks, to say that gay marriage is normal, natural, and lawful is in effect, it is, and they know it, it's in effect, the government has created a new state religion. Now hear me out. Hear me out before you call me crazy. I've been talking about this with constitutional experts, and they agree with me. So you can be out there and call me crazy if you want, but I'm not crazy. We can disagree. We can agree to disagree. But I'm not crazy in what I'm getting ready to say. Constitutional legal experts agree with what I'm getting ready to tell you. They have, in effect, created a new state religion. Here's why. Because the 3 largest monotheistic religions on the planet, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. Now, I know there's a debate about Islam being monotheistic, but that's how every encyclopedia defines them. So for the sake of this argument, I'm going to call them monotheistic. The 3 largest monotheistic religions on the planet all have in their writings and in their holy books and in their holy scriptures, every one of them say that gay marriage is an abomination. Every one of them. They're all in the United States, right? So you know what the gay marriage ruling did? It said to the 3 largest monotheistic religions in the world, and all of them are represented in the United States, 70% of everybody in the United States say they're a Christian, so by and large Christians, but all 3 of them, it said to all 3 of the world's largest monotheistic religions, you now, in order to live and work and move in this country in total freedom, you have to trash the foundational tenet of your religion and accept our religious statement. See, because the foundational tenet of all 3 religions is marriage, home, family, man, woman, children. Not 2 men, not 2 women. It's not about love. It's about lust. There are a lot of men in my life that I love and love dearly and would lay my life down for them. But I am not going to, don't want to, have no desire to have intimate relationships with them. You know why? Because I don't lust after their flesh. I love them. And I would lay my life down for them. Do you understand the difference? I know some people are out there snickering right now with dirty minds, but I'm talking just truth to you. I'm talking human truth. I'm talking about a godly, brotherly love. To have intimate relations with someone that is of the same sex I am. You do know the plumbing and the mechanics don't work, right? You do know that, right? It's unnatural. And the Supreme Court has said, you're going to have to accept our new religion now. Our new religion says a marriage, home, and family can be as perverted and perverse as we want it to be. Just whoever you love. And if you don't go along with it, we'll put you in jail. And we're going to start with government employees because that's where we have the biggest billy club right now. But from there, we're going to move to religious organizations. And from there, we're going to move into the churches. And we're going to do it through tax exemption, et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, we're going to move to all government employees. And you're going to sign a form saying that you affirm gay marriage because we're going to stamp out this homophobia. Well, here's what I say. You guys have heterophobia. The radical homosexuals listening right now, you have heterophobia. You have Christophobia. And you're filled with hate speech for us. And I'm offended. And today in America, for the first time in U.S. history, a Christian woman sits in jail because she believes a marriage is between a man and a woman. Kim Davis, Rowan County clerk, Rowan County, Kentucky. I applaud her. God bless you, Kim Davis. We're praying for you and much, much more. Folks, we're going to talk about this. There's so much. This is so complex. I understand. Listen, Andy Richter, here's a tweet he put out today. To say this Kim Davis thing is evidence of war on Christianity is like saying there's a war on cars because you can't drive on the sidewalk. Well, Andy Richter, you are so ignorantly wrong. I know what the left does. I know what the radical gay movement does. They try to boil it down into this simple little, it's law, it's legal, it's the legal thing. But it's much deeper, it's much more radical than that. Governor Bobby Jindal, I like what he tweeted. He said, if Kim Davis had refused to enforce immigration laws, she wouldn't be in jail. She'd be a candidate for the Democrats in the Senate in 2016. Go, Bobby Jindal. You're right. Yeah. Hillary Clinton tweeted today. Hillary Clinton tweeted. She says, marriage equality is the law of the land. Officials, government officials should be held to their duty to uphold the law. End of story. Hillary Clinton said that government officials should uphold the law? Good gosh, folks. I agree with Hillary Clinton. I hope she's in prison soon. We're going to talk more about this. Welcome back, America. We're going to go straight to the phone lines. Steve, calling from the Gulf Coast. Steve, you want to sound off. Go ahead.
Thank you, Carl, for stating that everybody will be forced in state, county, federal jobs. I called Mike Mashburn Tuesday morning and stated that I can see what's coming, that they will put on 1040 forms, electric bills, gas bills, water bills, whatnot, that you must sign that you affirm and accept same-sex marriage. There's going to be nowhere to hide.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Steve. And thank you for affirming what I'm saying. I mean, if this tide doesn't get stopped, if it doesn't get stemmed, then very soon, James, it's going, there you are. All right, listen, folks, that line is open. If you want to call 850-623-1330. But you're absolutely right, James. I mean, Steve, I called you James. I'm sorry. You're right, Steve. This is just the beginning. I mean, they're starting with government officials because they can. And they're going to say, well, it's the law of the land now, and you're going to affirm it, you're going to act. And see, she was targeted. Do you know of any Muslim government officials that have been targeted? Do you know of any Jewish government? There are Muslim. We got Muslim Brotherhood working in the White House. We have Muslim government officials. Why aren't they being targeted? Why did the Houston mayor target Christian pastors? Why did these gays, these radical gays in Rowan County, Kentucky, why did they target a Christian clerk? See, this is a targeting of Christianity. I told you that, folks, before the Supreme Court ruling ever went in, that this is what this is about. This is what it's about. Let's go back to the phone lines. Ray, you're on with us. Ray's calling from the Gulf Coast. You want to sound off? Go ahead.
Pastor Gallups, I heard you to say one time, about prayer in school that, the reason we couldn't have Christian prayer in schools because then we'll have to have Muslim and, whatever. So I was just wondering if that wasn't the same situation here.
Yeah. Okay, so you're going to give up your time by asking me a question?
Sir?
I said you're going to give up your time by asking me a question because I gave you 1 minute to sound off.
Well, my question was a rhetorical question. It's just a statement. I think this is the same sort of thing. You can't have the religion involved in government, period.
Yeah. Okay, good deal. Well, see, is the clerk of the courts, okay, she ran for office. And by the way, that phone line's open, folks, 850-623-1330 if you want to sound off. When she ran for office, marriage was marriage, as it has been for 6,000 years. They changed the rules on her in the middle of the game and then came right for her throat. And they went right to her faith. And as I said, first of all, the ruling was illegal in the first place, according to the Supreme Court justices who made the ruling. And again, I have in writing, in media reports, written media reports that was run on Fox News, WND, and Drudge Report, I have legal experts that have agreed with what I'm saying here. I'm not just shooting out of my back pocket. So the rules were changed in the middle of the game, and unconstitutional, illegal ruling was handed down, sir. That's the deal. She ran for office under one set of rules. They changed the rules on her. We're living in Sodom and Gomorrah now, folks, and I'm telling you, it's not about parity and equality and freedom and, and love and puppy breath and daffodils. That's not what this is about. This is a radical, angry movement aimed at Christianity. Aimed at Christianity. Mark my words, folks, all of you that have government jobs, they're coming for you. You watch what I'm telling you. And then it's going to be religious organizations. Then it's going to be pastors. And then it's going to be anybody who has any kind of a job, watch this, that's open to the public. You're going to have to sign government forms affirming this, and you're going to be put in jail if you express in any way anything contrary to the celebration of gay marriage. That's my point. Pete, you got 1 minute. Sound off.
Hey, Pastor Carl. Hey, exactly what you're saying. You want to hear some total hypocrisy? Remember Mayor Gavin Newsom in San Francisco? They passed a law that gay marriage was not legal. You cannot do it. He said, I don't care. Make it legal. Sign the marriages. Sign their certificates. And he put that on the board, regardless of what the law said. They said it was not legal, but he used his judicial power of being a government-sponsored representative, a person under the government. So, but where's the outcry from everybody else? He's the same one that said you can have total frontal nudity and walk around, as long as you put a little blanket or a towel on the bus seat when you sit on. So people can pass laws, but where are the Christians? The gays were there inside that room with the cameras shoving mics in their face, but where are the Christians? The gays are always blocking bridges and walking across, different houses and stuff, but the Christians really just don't do anything, and I'm the same way.
Well, Pete, listen, that's a good point. And by the way, folks, that line's open now, 850-623-1330. That's a good point. And the other point is that she was targeted. There were dozens of clerks' offices they could have gone to that would have issued them a marriage license, but they targeted her. This is about hate. It's about heterophobia. It's about Christophobia. This is what it's about. I've been screaming this for months before the decision, and now that the decision has been made, I've been warning America that these things were coming. We've got a Christian woman in jail tonight because she doesn't believe marriage is between a man and a woman. All right, Michael, you've got less than a minute. Sound off quickly.
Quickly, I think there's a big misconception about the Constitution and what people need to realize. The Constitution says that the government shall not establish a religion. That means they can't make any law saying that this is a particular religion of the land. It does not say that people who become into public office or who become elected officials have to check their religion at the door. That's not what was intended. That is not what the Constitution says. These people are twisting the Constitution to state their own beliefs and to clarify their dogmatic belief in what boils down to atheism. And it's a twisted perversion of the Constitution. And
you're absolutely right, Michael, and we've run out of time. We're right up against a hard break. Bless you, Michael. You're absolutely right. Folks, we'll be back in a moment. More of Freedom Friday with Carl Gallups in just a second after this timeout. Don't go anywhere. It's going to get hot.